Good evening, seasonal adventurers. I'm about, not me. I can be we. This is going to be a different video. Quite a different video from any videos I've done before, for those that have been watching my channel for a long time, or for those coming on board recently. I have thought about it, and I'm going to do it. If any relatives have any problems with me, they can take it up with me personally. What I'm referring to is I'm going to be recording something that I recorded on cassette tape. Those in my generation will know what a cassette tape is, an audio cassette tape. And it contains the voices of my late grandparents on my mother's side. My mother's also already since passed away. And these are her parents' voices, as I said, my grandparents on my mother's side. You'll mostly hear my grandma, whom I take a lot of traits after, whether, they say, born or bred? I think it's bred. No, yes, bred, as in influence. Or maybe it's born. Anyway, I have a lot of traits that my grandmother had, and I admire, and I do it now. She loved various food and drink, whether it was, in homemade or when they had takeaway or dined out. She enjoyed traveling, not only around Indonesia, where this recording is done, but around the world as well. She's been to Australia, to visit us, when I was a kid, but I mostly went to Indonesia during our Australian summer, so term 4 break of primary and secondary school. She has a sweet tooth. I know her favourite drink is Sprite. Oh no, actually 7-Up. I think she refers to it in the recording. What else? Oh, she loves shopping, of course. Lots of shoes in her then master bedroom, clothes. I love the tradition she had when it was her birthday, or she would, when it was to celebrate her birthday, which is actually, pardon me, dry air, which is one day before mine. Yeah. She always bought something new, like she always wore a new dress or a new piece of clothing. And she just felt it was appropriate because it's celebrating your birthday. You should wear something new to celebrate that. And of course, last but not least, music. She loved to sing. She used to sing to me, of course, hits of that time, such as How Much Is That Doggy in the Window, Shoo Shoo Little Bird, Que Sera Sera. Yeah, all those, I guess, 50s hits. Yeah. So yeah, this is when you could say this was a prelude maybe to this YouTube channel decades later. I recorded an interview of, well, not so much a formal interview, very informal. Both my grandparents knew I was recording, so that's why they sound not super uncomfortable, but they kind of denying or deflecting certain questions I'm asking them, and I'm just being purely playful. I'm a child. At this stage, I would be, and I guess anywhere between 8 and 12 years of age. So I've got a very childlike mind, and it reflects in my voice and also the questions I'm asking them. So I don't know whether to, because as I'm recording it, should I point it to myself and you see my reactions as we're going through? I suppose that's appropriate, isn't it? Otherwise, you're just looking at the actual boombox that actually has a cassette player. Alright, well, maybe I'll show you the cassette player first, and then I'll switch it back to me, and yeah, I'll comment without trying to interrupt, because I'm basically doing this so that if ever the cassette tape itself wears out, we've got a digital recording here. I don't think anyone will mind. Like I said, everyone who's in the recording has since passed away. So when she mentions her sister, I refer to her as Oma An. She might refer to her as Nani or Nani, I believe. She's already passed away too. Anyway, here we go. So just switching the camera so you can see the device, and then I will play it. Hopefully it's loud enough for you to hear as well. Here we go. Alright, So playing the play button. Oh, sorry, it's not getting my fingers in the way. Where are we? Play. Here we are.
Yeah. Karat. Why? Dangerous. He will see ngamuk. About what? Nothing to say to Papa. From? Not from.
Oh, actually, apologies there, Seasonal Adventurers. I did a test recording before I did this recording to you now, as I'm recording. So I missed the start of that tape interview. So this is from the start now. So let's, sorry about that. Let's go from the very beginning, or basically when I started recording. It doesn't have an introduction. This is from a child's mind point of view, so there's no intro to this. It just starts. Here we go. All right, a bit of a pause. I'm in silence, and you should hear the sound of the record button. There we go.
Can't speak as if you're on the phone. You say imagine. What will you say to her? What will you say? I don't know what to say to her. I have nothing to say. Yeah. Karat. Why? Dangerous. He will see ngamuk. About what? Nothing to say. Nothing to say to Papa. From? Not from. What do you... What will you wish for me? What will you wish for me?
Okay, I just paused the recording there. Actually, the cassette recording, that is. Just referring to some names or terms. So when you hear the term Opa and Oma, that's Opa is grandfather or grandpa, and Oma is grandmother. Po is auntie, so Po An is Auntie An, which is my grandmother's sister. And I'm just going by my own experiences and others. Po An did have a reputation when she was alive. This is going to be controversial if any of my relatives see this, but I'm just going to say it, but I'm not going to delve into any details. We all have a stubborn side, and you know, at times we can be rather demanding and maybe it's a little bit manipulative. I'd have to say, unfortunately, there were traits that Po An exhibited, you know, in various doses or times. So that's why my grandma is very hesitant as I'm pressing her to make comment about her sister, because she doesn't want to get in trouble. So that's what that's about. So yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. You have got that. Where from? I don't know. Yes, okay. Mama, what will you wish for me and my family before we go? Huh? What will you wish for me? Selamat jalan, banyak anak jalan anak. No picture, it's okay. No, it's not good. You have better. And practice me. And for Daddy? Okay. I don't know. And for Mommy? For Mommy. Thank you for the money you gave me. Terima kasih. Terima kasih, Mami dikirim uang. Ya kok cinta Mbak Mami. Terima kasih ya. Nah, Mami tidak bisa ngirimi apa-apa Mbak Iya. Hah? Ya, sampai ketemu lain tahun. Terima kasih. Terima kasih yang di normal. Nah, share ya. Hah? Enggak keras ya.
Okay, so there was a mixture of Bahasa Indonesia and English. It sounded like, from what I gather from the recording, I don't have the date written on the cassette when I recorded. I think I just have the year, just looking at it. So it was 1999. It would have been around late January, early February, So, so that I get back to the start of term 1, the Victorian school term that starts in February, I believe, sometime in February. And I'm asking her, my grandma, to give well wishes, or does she have anything to say to me, my brother Denny, my mum and my dad. And she's thanking my mum for some money that she's given, and she's thanking my dad as well. Cinta is love, I believe, and affection. So she's being cheeky, of course, and saying she's surprised how much affection my dad would show her. Of course, that's not a surprise. It's a natural for any of us to show affection to her. So she's just being, I must have my sense of humour also inherited from my grandmother. Okay, let's keep going. I'm not sure if there's anything more because it's only very short. The recordings you'll hear of my late grandmother and grandfather, but let's keep going.
Ulin tak tunggak ni lekas sembuh, waras, bisa pergi Indonesia, wah, keluar nak jadi pipi sayang. Sudah senang-senang murung. Lain tahun ya, sing lama di sini setengah tahun ya. Atau di sana, kita ketemu di sana. 1 tahun sulang lama sekali. Dah ya, An. Ya, she has fight, Ulin, selamat, tak apa-apa. She has something to say now. I have nothing to say. She said it again.
Okay, means uncle, and An is her sister, so Po An, Auntie An. The name escapes me, sorry. The name she refers to, uncle, is the husband of her brother-in-law, basically. And she was just wishing that his health is well. Naturally, as all of us age, ailments will crop up, and from memory, around 1999, they're older. My grandma is the oldest sister of her siblings, so Auntie Ann is, below her in age, or relative, give and take a few years, so perhaps already uncle, her brother-in-law, was coming down with some conditions. They had moved to Australia, my uncle and auntie, my grandmother's sister and brother-in-law, to live with their son and family. They've both since passed away, so generational thing. Okay, let's see if there's anything more. Let's continue on. Oh, she was just, giving well wishes to her brother-in-law at the time and hoping that they will see each other again.
That will always be your name, to a garden filled with roses, down the sunset still will stay, when your hair has turned to silver, I will love you as today. Tak ada mulai ini. Mulai ini tak ada. What? Gimana? Ayo, play what? Hello. Apa?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut off my grandfather there saying hello. Yes, I forgot about that song. It's a song, I believe the title is When Your Hair Has Turned to Silver. Very sweet song, quite poignant. Basically saying, as we get older and your hair turns to silver, the person singing hopes that their partner will still love them just the same. So there's a little snippet of my grandmother singing. She did ask me what happened at the start of the recording, and I kind of feigned ignorance, so I must have forgotten or didn't press record at the time, so I only got a little bit of her singing, and she was asking me, what about the beginning? What about the beginning? Okay, so it looks like my grandfather's coming to the picture now, so to speak, so let's see what he has to say.
Apa? Enggak apa-apa. Aku hello. Anything for me? Anything what? I mean, anything for wishing me goodbye. No, nothing. Ini juga. Dia mungkin perlu berjalan. Ini dia perlu bawa ini. You love Oma very much? Whoa, very much. I have to give this to Uncle Pat. What? I have to give it back today. What? I'll soon this belongs to Uncle Pat. This belongs to Uncle Pat? What is this? It's a cassette player. Oh. He will die for you. Oh yeah, Uncle Pat. Uncle Pat. Uncle Pat. Yeah. I told him a girl from the office will come here. No, I do it by myself. Not writing, but typing. Okay. And imagine one day in the future, if you could meet Po An again, yeah, what would you say to Po An? If I meet her again, yeah, if Opa meets Po An, yeah, Oma, yeah, what would you say to Po An if you can meet her? Okay to say. He can't think of anything. And Congolese?
So let's just stop there. Explain a few things. So Uncle Pat is obviously, it's a mixture of English and Bahasa, and uncle is uncle. Uncle Pat is, how can I explain this? My grandparents had 3 children, obviously my mother being one of them. My mother has a sister and brother. Her sister's husband is named Uncle Pat. So clearly I've borrowed his cassette player, which had a recording device. I mean, a cassette player had a recording function, so I could record that interview, and I borrowed it, as you heard me say, and I have to give it back to him, obviously, because it does belong to me, and I'm not going to take it back to Australia. Something about typing up, I believe that's to do with, I asked my grandfather, quite timely, since he's no longer with us, to write up what he thinks are like, something I gave him homework, what he is proud of his family and his children, his legacy basically, or their legacy, the children's legacy. And looks like Uncle Pat's work, receptionist, is going to type it up, or maybe he's going to type it up. Anyway, my grandfather was still quite, you know, had all his faculties. He gave me a typewriter as a birthday present, I remember, sometime back in the times I visited them in Indonesia. Anyway, so that's the reference there about typing up. So yeah, let's just keep going. Here we go. He also is wary of Po An's personality and character traits, so he's being diplomatic and kind of, you know, silence is golden. He's not wanting to make any comment about his sister-in-law.
Cepat kuat kembali, langkah komplain ke Indonesia, tinggal di Genfu 2 bulan. Not enough 2 months, ya? Iya. Sampai ke Bangkok, ya? With all my love, rumah ditinggal aja dah. Ya Rabbi, I love you, no matter by me. How much does the cassette cost? 1,000 rupees. Wow. $1 free. I love you. Oh, finish? Yeah. I love you.
Excuse me there, Grandma, just pausing again. So both my grandparents had yes, they had very funny senses of humor, very funny. So clearly they're both now, although they might have been shy at first for me to record them, they're both talking on top of each other, so they're not waiting in turn. My grandmother's just suddenly singing again, and my grandfather's commenting, mentioning about not having taken a shower yet and that we want to leave it behind. My grandfather had a tradition of taking me out for breakfast every morning when I was visiting them, and naturally he wanted us to be showered and ready to go, and my grandmother would be taking her time, her sweet time, not on purpose. You just do her rituals, you know, not rituals, you kind of have your own, you know, set of things you do in order of when you get up. And my grandmother, clearly, because they're both retired at the time, so they had oodles of time, and she felt there was no hurry to be ready for breakfast, even though myself and my grandfather were ready to go for breakfast. That's what's going on there. She's delving into the song When Your Hair Has Turned to Silver again. So yeah, let's continue. Oh, that was a bit rude of me.
Fun. Yeah, I'll say stop.
What's happening?
Everyone's eating. Everybody's eating. About you told it? No, I didn't want. Maybe later, after I took a bath.
This might be later in the day because I'm inferring that I'm after I take a bath. Oh, early when they mention, they mention some sort of fruit. Anyway, yeah, it's a fruit they mention. I think it starts with C or K, if it's spelled in it. And yeah, my grandparents' names, Oma Betty and Opa John. So that's, yeah, you'll hear those reference names through the interview, I assume. So, and you heard me bursting into bits of song, just, yeah, vocalizing what was happening around me in song, saying that my grandfather was sitting.
No. He stays at home. You're not yet ready. Uma. I'm not ready either.
Oh. Trying to be diplomatic between them.
You said you love Oma very much, yeah? Very much. If you had the value in dollars, how much is Oma debt? Is he $1 million? Yeah. And you love Opa very much? So much you will not drink 7-Up anymore for him? I will drink 7-Up always. And will you put 7-Up first before Opa? 7-Up first, Opa second. How about that? Did you really mean to put 7-Up first before Opa? No. Well, what has changed your mind? I love him.
Oh,
That was a very good answer.
so
Oma
cheeky.
has a wish for all the family.
Oh, here we go.
I wish my husband, children, son and daughter, grandson, granddaughter, great-granddaughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, cousins, nephews, nieces, sisters, brothers, to live happy, healthy life, and a long life forever.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that was for my grandma, Oma Dad. It was for my grandma, Oma Dad. From my grandma, Oma Dad. I wonder if he has a special message for Tuan.
Keep going on about my auntie. Silly of me. She already said she had nothing to say.
Ulin kapan ke Indonesia? Sudah kangen sayang dan jadi cucu. Nanti datang sana dulu ya. Sambang Yuli di sana. Dan doakan selamat kekeluarga. Jangan sakit-sakit, panjang umur, hidup rukun sampai tua. Lalu nanti Ulin, apa keadaan kalian?
Oh, sorry, just kind of... The voice you're just hearing in the recent few seconds there is my grandma on my dad's side that, yes, has already since passed away also. My grandma is just being diplomatic and not saying, any specific, obviously, complaints about her sister, but she was wishing her husband, Uncle Pauline, the best of health and long life, and hoping that they'll see each other again. So this, and my grandma's Oma Betty, but I would call it Oma Bet for short sometimes. So Elizabeth, actually. So Betty, Bet. Okay, the voice you're hearing now continuing is Oma Nell, or Oma Nelly, which is my grandma on my dad's side.
Sehat-sehat ya, tidak sampai ada apa-apa. Mas dan seangan bener loh sama Yuli Gleding. Tapi ini kali ini nggak bisa ikut lantaran isi serak nih. Keadaan badan itu itu nggak enak. Coba ya ikut Australia. Buat kangen dulu Ian. Nah, belum ya nggak jadi datang Juni. Buat senang-senang bakal ketemu ya. Sekarang nggak jadi. Tapi cuma ya lebih banyak artinya ya dalam tahun 88 selalu pasangannya di dalam sekretarisan. Ini Umanel ya, jangan lupa Umanel ini Yulestar ya. I love you very much.
Yes, of course, Auntie Anne would recognize her identifying her as Omanel, but yeah, I get it. I would call her Omanel. Of course, her sister wouldn't call her, Auntie Nell. Again, the basic translation, she was wishing Auntie Anne the best of health, long life, and hoping they will catch each other again. And she was saying she has a sore throat, Sarah. It's a bit hoarse, and she can't come to Australia this time round. So, yeah. Oh.
Tapi dan Pauline yang tercinta, besok pagi Ivan dan Julan sama Denny sudah akan meninggalkan Dempo 4. Pasti rumah Dempo akan jadi sangat sepi dengan keberangkatan mereka bertiga itu. Tapi ya, mereka juga ingin cepat bertemu dengan suami dan ayahnya. Maka kami juga senang sekali mereka cepat bisa berkumpul kembali dengan suami dan ayah mereka. Pada tanggal 29, jadi hari esok, mereka bertiga akan berangkat ke Denpasar di antara Jambuan. Dan dari sana, mereka jam setengah 12 malam, mereka dengan pesawat Garuda akan meninggalkan Denpasar dan menuju ke Melbourne. Sayang sekali tidak berdua tidak datang dalam bulan Juni karena dokter telah melarang karena kesehatannya Pauline dianggap belum mengizinkan. Tapi bulan Juni atau Juli kan masih lama. Jadi nanti setelah 3 bulan lagi check up, mungkin saja dokter bilang, sekarang kesehatan Dinda sudah sembuh dan diizinkan berangkat ke Indonesia. Siapa tahu, kita benar-benar mengharapkan kedatangan Dinda berdua karena rumah Dempo dengan keberangkatan Ali dan Jongho sangat, dan terutama Sanya menjadi sangat sepi sekali. Jadi tetap kita mengharapkan semoga dengan berkat Tuhan dan di mana kita tiap malam Kanda dan Susi tiap malam mendoakan agar Dinda diberi kesembuhan total dan mampu dan bisa berangkat ke Indonesia dengan tidak ada halangan suatu apa. Sampai di sini dulu. Semoga tidak lama lagi kita dapat saling bertemu, terutama Pauline dan Aan pasti rindu dengan tanah air Indonesia.
Just one moment, Grandpa, just pausing there. There's a few names whizzing by. It sounds like this is the night before myself, my mum and my brother are due to fly out of. We usually fly out of an airport in Surabaya, which is I think 2 or 3 hours drive from Malang. That's where my grandparents live, where we resided during the holidays. And then from Surabaya we would fly to Denpasar. I don't know why we would. I don't know, just go direct from, maybe there's no direct flights at that time from Surabaya to Melbourne. So Surabaya to Denpasar, which is in Bali, and then from Denpasar to Melbourne. He mentions Chong Ho, Tante Oli and Fania. Chong Ho is his son, my mum's brother. Oli is the wife and Fania is the daughter. Okay, let's just keep going here. Unpause.
Sampai jumpa lagi di lain kesempatan. Lalu sekarang seperti berada di tempo. Sudah terima surat Yuda. Anak senang sekali membacanya. Wah, sayangnya kamu tidak jadi datang. Saya sudah sangat harap-harap ketemu Yuli di tempo.
Sorry, my auntie, another auntie, my grandmother has a lot of sisters. This is trigger because again it's just it's an audio recording, not a visual recording as well. And this voice would either be auntie, I know it sounds, I don't mean this as a joke. Her name is Bosik, so I presume it's spelled S-I-K, not like the English S-I-C-K. So Bosik or Boswi. So their voices are very similar. So clearly there's a lot of people visiting when we're visiting my grandparents. They want to see us as well. So the voice you're hearing now is either Posik, Auntie Sik or Auntie Sui. Maybe they'll identify themselves as they talk. Here we go.
Baru ini Iklan mantu. Dia bilang Pak Yu mesti diampungan akan diundang. Dan yang lainnya tidak hanya Yu. Nah, Pak Yu masih di Surabaya. Bermalam kena Iklan mantu di Surabaya. Tapi sayang ini sudah di Australia. Jadi terpaksa malam pulang juga. Karena Sokosan juga ke Amerika. Nah, sayang ya tetap di Surabaya aku bantu begitu kita bergurau senang-senang. Sayang sekali jadi nggak jadi datang. Don't worry, I always pray for Yuli. Semoga Yuli selalu bahagia, ulin seger, waras, sehat, panjang usia, and you juga perasaan di sana. Wah, soal dinding ya sudah diserahkan sama Sui, bisa banyak julai. Bagaimana? Wah, sampai kaget loh. Sui, bilang sungguh enggak tulis apa-apa nih yo. Tanya aja sama Ju. Rame loh, tapi ya enggak apa-apa. Ya, bilangnya ya tak serah Yeti, tak saksi penjualan deh. Ya, tidak biar Ju bisa cerita Yu. Nah,
maybe that was all. So she did refer to Sui. I heard Sui, so I assumed that's Auntie Sek talking about her sister Auntie Sui, and she's obviously well wishing her sister Anne, who lives in Melbourne, and obviously my mum. I think that's all. Yeah, I can't hear any more voices, so let me just stop the cassette player. So there we go. Wow, it's over half an hour already. Yeah, so clearly I'm just in my apartment, just chilling out on a Saturday night. Yeah, those days of nightclubbing are well behind me. Just chilling out at home. Yeah, great. So that was the recording of my Indonesian relatives, of my, in order of audio was my grandmother, Oma Betty, then Opa John, Oma Nelly, and Po Sik, one of my aunties. So yeah, it was great. It's a great memory. They've all passed away. They were that generation. It's a shame I didn't have a recording. If it was, it would be on either beta or VHS tape at the time. But I'm just grateful I've kept this cassette, and now it's timeless, it's eternal on YouTube, as long as YouTube's still around, generations from now. Again, it's not intended to offend any relatives who might hear this or might know of this clip and watching it. As I said, the reputation that Auntie Ann has, let's say, of being difficult, you know, we all have that trait at times, so I'm not going to delve into any specifics, of course. She can't speak for herself since she's not here anymore on this earth, so I won't delve into any, you know, speculation or anything else. So, and it's quite mature of my grandparents to be, you know, wishing her well and her husband, despite, you know, the reputation that sometimes Auntie Ann can have, and also of Oma Nelly saying the same thing, and her sister Bosik saying the same thing. Obviously they're going to be saying lovely things about each other. It's not a bitch session, and it's not a roasting session by any means, and it just gives you a glimpse of I know, despite how much I don't like tropical hot weather, and Indonesia's on the equator, those who know have been to Indonesia, yeah, I'll always cherish the company of especially my grandparents. Yeah, from my mum's side, that's where we stayed most of the time while we stayed in Indonesia. So, amazing memories. Yeah, so that's all. I'll finish it before this becomes an hour-long video. Thank you those that have watched it till the end. I know it's very removed from my other videos. It's a very personal video in this case that would only be of value to those that knew those relatives, but to a passing viewer and my seasonal subscribers, seasonal adventurers who are listening in now. Yeah, I just want to say, you don't need reminding, but please cherish your relatives while they're here. I mean, cherish yourselves as well. Live every moment as if it's the last moment, because maybe it'll just end up being a recording on YouTube or a cassette tape somewhere. Alright then, I'm breathing like I've got asthma. I don't. Maybe I'll just get myself a glass of water. It's been quite a warm day today. Again, summer starts next month for the Southern Hemisphere. December is the first month of summer, so we're almost at the end of spring. Actually, we're about more than halfway. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, until my next video, Seasonal Adventures, thank you for watching and listening, and getting a peek into my my relatives that used to live in Indonesia. Bye everyone.